I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashamanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashamanaye swaha. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum tesham dathagato yavatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashamanaye swaha. Okay, so what we do is that first we will do a little bit of how to meditate on emptiness, followed by reciting the collection extracts from this book on emptiness and dependent origination. Okay, what I have is on page 208, but we'll read this later. Say, if we are to meditate on emptiness, how do we meditate? This is the point. This is an analytical meditation, and is Bodhisattva Arideva, the chief disciple of Nagarjuna. In fact, he said in the 400 verses, his text composition known as 400 verses. This is a very important text, and what it said there is that those with less merit will not even have a doubt in this teaching on emptiness. Should there be doubt? Should the doubt or question arises in the mind? What is this reality? What is this emptiness? It shatters your samsara into pieces. It is so precious. What we are studying, what we are reflecting on, what you're meditating is so precious. And finally, it depends on the individuals. That we are here together and we can be, say like, conducive factors to each other, to help each other, to study this, reflect on this, meditate on this. Then finally, when you go back, what you do and not do, entirely up to the individual. Okay, and of course, this is extremely precious. And this book, this is, as I said earlier, is many years of effort. In fact, some of you, I don't know what they're saying about Ajiji maybe, Ajiji and Sonamla. This book, when it formed blue from here. So it evolved all these many years. And if you can say if you're interested, you can read this. Gradually keep it there, always with you. This consists of very important short texts like sutras and the writings of the great Indian masters, Tibetan masters. And you see that this will constantly help you to implant in you extremely precious mental imprints. So what we gather, or in a basket, you can, sometimes the basket remains empty, some of the basket remains have some very the say raw apples or raw mangoes and so forth. Sometimes it has nectars. So this we see that these texts are so precious, and just go through this, and as you understand emptiness becomes better, you understand compassion becomes better, then you see that this book is really very precious. In fact, some of the people who have been into Buddhism for the last many years, when they come to get the first version of this book, they were so impressed. This is exactly the kind of material that we were looking for, and now I got it. This is what many people felt. So this is, don't take this for granted. This is something that you will love it, and perhaps you meet with other people who have not seen this book and who have been to Buddhism for the last many years. You will get good perhaps a very good feedback from them. This is one thing. Then the next is practicing the wisdom of emptiness. Unlike what we call as meditation, which means just like sitting, observing, this is an analytical meditation. Analytical meditation brings about cognitive transformation, whereas a single point of meditation brings about stability in your mind, and it calms down your mind, it stills your mind. For example, like dirty water, you don't stir it, just keep it there, still it, and all the sediments come down. It becomes very calm. Whereas the analytical meditation is one which brings about cognitive transformation, because our mind has so many complications. One is that it's so disturbed, agitated. For this, we need single point of meditation. And it is cognitively erroneous. Cognitively erroneous. What we are seeing is not reality. Yet we have no even clue that there's a misconception happening within the mind. So that is fixed by the analytical meditation, particularly the wisdom of emptiness. And then our mind does not expand. For example, like somebody meditating just on the breath, that person will not become compassionate, that's for sure. You may meditate on breath and it's a wonderful experience, feeling of the lightness and the tickling sensations can come in you, but your compassion will not grow, that's for sure. Perhaps you may become a little cold, and anybody who comes to you, they may not feel themselves being accommodated by you. You could feel that. They come to you, and you also have some body language that, why are you here? You are wasting my time, right? I'd rather go into my meditation. And the other people can feel that from you, which means your compassion is not growing. Where, say, you may be into samadhi meditation, very high level, but the compassion is not growing. If compassion is not growing, the joy is not increasing. No, happiness is not growing. And you think that you are, reaching somewhere. And sometimes you may feel a little irritated when somebody is not in line with what you're doing, right? So this is where, when the holistic practice, and how to bring about expansion of this heart, expansion. For example, you see some of the great, the Buddhist masters from different traditions, particularly the one that I'm more exposed to are the Tibetan masters. Some of the Tibetan masters, you meet with them, you will get a feeling extremely warm feeling. And if the person left by himself or herself, will be just more happy to go into your own meditation. When somebody comes, the person entertains you, listen to you, will not reject you, will not give the impression it's so like, okay, I have something to do myself, right? So what for have you come here? So you will never get this feeling. For example, my teacher, Venerable Geshe, who spent, I think, about 30, 40 years in the solitary retreat in the mountains by himself. And one day, some of the students, they requested him to lead a whole meditation shamatha in America. So he was invited there. And there's one particular student. This was what this student shared with me later on. He said that he used to go to the teacher, Venerable Geshe, every day. And then of course, he cut off himself from the world and went to the mountains to do his meditation. And now somebody is coming every day, and something clicked in his mind that okay, so he's a lifelong retreatant, and I'm going there every day. It must be bothering him. So he directly asked my teacher that the Venerable Sir, are you not being bothered by my visiting you every day? And what reply he gave? Yes, it does bother me, but I'll be more happy that you bother me than you not coming to visit me at all. This is compassion. I would rather be more happy that you bother me than you not coming to me at all. If you not come to me, you will not grow. Finally, I want you to grow. This is response given. So compassionate. So compassionate. Whereas some of the meditations, right? And then somebody comes, we talk. Where is compassion? And it's not necessary that you should have the compassion, right? Even the compassion, don't think that, oh, it should be there. If it's not there, something is wrong. No. Compassion for your own sake. What do you want? You want total fearlessness, or just the calmness of mind, or freedom from samsara, or infinite happiness? You want all. If you want all, go for all. Go for all the causes. And the only answer to the infinite happiness, bodhicitta, the unconditional love of others. This is so beautiful, so precious. So precious. Okay. So with this,
story with the water.
Yes, it's very inspiring. Yes, very inspiring. Yes. Okay, so we have to look for the opportunity, right? If I share all the stories, then this text will not finish. Otherwise, it's a very beautiful story. Yes. Okay. So with this, for the meditation emptiness, now that we are already introduced to four essentials to establish emptiness, and about the basic frameworks. Every now and then these things are explained there. So what we do is that now we sit upright, and okay. Say, as I'm explaining, and sometimes like instructions, try to follow, and remember the steps. Remember the steps to get to emptiness. It is not like just sitting and then you get into emptiness directly. No, it never happened like this. It is known as analytical meditation. For the analytical meditation, your mind should be actively thinking of, analyzing, and then your mind should go deeper, analytically or cognitively. It should go deeper and deeper. Okay. The first, okay, just think of the self. I. What are you doing? I'm meditating. And what is your body doing? My body is in a meditative state. Okay, now just see how this self, which you identify as I, appear. How does it appear to you? Like a dream, where your mind projects the self, or it's so solidly there, so objectified there. How does it appear to you? This is also four essentials in lieu of the first essential of identified object negation. How does this self appear to you? Of course, so solidly objectified as they are, independent of my mind thinking. It does not appear as my mind is projecting it or creating it. Okay, just be very sure of that. How does self appear? How does it appear to you as so objectively there, and so intrinsically there, inherently there? Okay. This belief in the self to be objectively real, yes, it does exist so objectively real. That belief is the self-grasping ignorance, believing that the self exists as objectively real. And this is self-grasping ignorance. Okay, how do you know that this is ignorance? How do you know that this is not a valid mind? if the self does exist, if the self who I identified as I, if it does exist objectively, remember what Nagarjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? In a similar, with a similar token of reasoning, if the self to be identified as I, to be existent objectively or inherently, then why not I see this self as I go closer to this object? Okay, now let us go closer to this object. Going closer to this object, we see that the going closer to the object to see if the self exists there, that is, to see the self exists objectively real. That mind which goes closer to the object is known as ultimate analysis. And this ultimate analysis, subjecting this self to ultimate analysis, see whatever is not the self, you're only interested in objectively existent self. Whatever is not the self or the objectively existent, just discard this. And subjecting this self to ultimate analysis, we first see the thin layer of the skin. Of course, that is not the self. Behind that, the fatty tissues. Behind that, the muscles, cartilages, the flesh. Then alongside, the whole skeleton is there, the heart, the lungs, the spleen, liver, stomach, pancreas, gallbladder, the whole intestine, all these solid parts. None of the solid parts is the self. None of these solid parts constitute the element of earth. In other words, the element of earth is not to be identified as, from the object to be identified as the self. No way it is to be identified as the self. Okay, then what about the element of water? 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Of course, that is not to be identified as the self. That is not to be identified as objectively the self. What about the element of fire, the body heat? 2,500 joules of energy. In other words, the body heat that you have. Of course, that is not me. That cannot be identified as objectively as the self, or in other words, it's not the self. Okay. What about the element of the air? 4.6 liters of air that you breathe in and out through your lungs. Of course, that is not me. That is also not identified as intrinsically one with the self. Then what about the space? 99.9% of your bodies consist of the space. Yes. Space is vacuum in nature, but I'm a solid person. So I'm not the space. What about what is left now? Consciousness, or my mind is left. My mind which thinks, which feels sad, which feels happy, which meditates. This mind. Even this mind is also not the self. This self is male, female, but this mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. So even this mind or the consciousness is also not me. Okay, so what do you see now? Subjecting this self too closely to the ultimate analysis, we just see the 6 elements. Which of the 6 elements is to be identified as intrinsically, objectively as the self? None. Okay, if you're convinced with this, none of the 6 elements is to be identified as the self, as a male, non-male, whatever. Which means that if you've understood this, you've understood the second essential of understanding, the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Okay, now if these 6 elements cannot be identified as intrinsically one with the self, then see if the self exists as different from the 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements. What is there? Nothing is left here to be identified as intrinsically different from the 6 elements. Okay, if you understood this, yes, the self is nowhere to be identified or nowhere to be seen. Remove the 6 elements, nothing is there to be left. Nothing's there left to be seen as the self. If you're convinced with this, you are getting a good understanding of the the third essential of understanding, the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically different from its parts. Okay, now are you sure that these are the only two possibilities? Either this, in the eyes of the ultimate analysis, the 6 elements, or 6 elements as the parts of the self, or different from the 6 elements to the self, these two possibilities? Yes. And now both the possibilities are ruled out. Where is the self? Does it not entail that if the self doesn't exist as intrinsically one with its parts, or to be identified as different from the parts, from the object, there's nothing to be identified as self? Yes, that's true. If you're convinced with this, you got the third point, which is the essential understanding of the pervasion, that anything which is empty of being intrinsically one and intrinsically being different from its parts entails the emptiness of the objectivity of the object. Good. Okay, now where you have come too close to the object with the help of this ultimate analysis, where's the self now? Where is the self? The self is nowhere to be seen, in the eyes of this ultimate analysis. It doesn't mean that the self doesn't exist. It means the self doesn't exist in the eyes of ultimate analysis, which means that the self doesn't exist objectively. From the object, this ultimate analysis is to see if the self exists objectively or not. And since it doesn't see, it means it doesn't exist objectively. So, in the experience of the ultimate analysis, where is the self? Nowhere to be seen, just here in this experience. And you are discovering that the self is empty of objective existence. You are not inventing this. This is not a mental fabrication. This is what you're discovering. And for some people, a tinge of a tickling sensation come to you. A tinge of a fear can come to you. And for some people, a tinge, goosebumps can come on you. Some people, cold waves can flow through your body. And for some, it may not, nothing can happen. It doesn't matter. It's just a matter of practice. If you do feel a tinge of fear, don't worry. It's a matter of time. Practice more, and the fear will be replaced by extremely profound tranquility and peace of mind. If you do get tickling sensations and so forth, you're very fortunate that going for more extensive studies, reflection, and meditation, your experience will become deeper, deeper, and deeper. You're bound to see the various layers and landscapes of emptiness the more you meditate on this. Okay. Now imagine that you come out of this meditation. Come out of the meditation, again the self comes back. Going back to the meditation, again the self disappears. Coming out, again the self comes back. But as an object, there's no change happening. But since the only change happening is in your perception level. So whatever is a part of this perception, what is a part of this change is a part of the perception. On the object, there's no change. But the self, no self, whatever it is there as it is, you are simply shifting your the perception from the ultimate analysis to the conventional analysis, where the self appears. The moment you move back to the ultimate analysis, self disappears. So there's a constant disappearance, disappearing happens. What is that? The self. Self appears, disappears, appears, disappears. Where is this happening? Appearing, disappearing. It's just happening on the level of the appearance. And appearance is purely subjective. So whatever is involved there, and with appearance, disappearance, is purely subjective. So therefore, the self is purely subjective, which means from the object it is empty, but to your ultimate conventional analysis, it appears. Okay. So with this in mind, go back to the experience of emptiness, subjecting the self to ultimate analysis. The self disappears. Stay in this experience. Okay, slowly come out of this meditation. Come out. Okay, now I would say that at the moment I've given the instruction. When you go back to your respective places, how do you meditate? Remember the 5 points. You want to note them down, 5 points, so that you can easily remember. But don't feel complacent. Don't feel complacent over these 5 points. Okay, 5 points. You don't go to any other teacher and say that, oh, I learned about the 5 point meditation, please teach that. No, this is how I formulated this to make it easy for the people. In no way you will see such 5 points meditation emptiness. You're getting it? So this is how I formulated on the basis of the very standard, say the teachings that I received from my teachers and from the very standard books written by the great masters. Okay, the 5 points to meditate on emptiness. 5 points to meditate on emptiness. Okay, the first I'll just enumerate the points, and if it's just by looking at the points, nobody will understand it. So first I'll enumerate the points, and then I'll explain them, and you make sure that you understand what you have written. First one is the self. Number 1, self. 2, the 6 elements. 6 elements. Number 2, number 3, 2 questions. 2 questions. Number 4, meditative state of the space-like emptiness. Meditative state of the space-like emptiness. Or meditative equipoise. Meditative equipoise of the space-like emptiness. And finally, post-meditative experience, post-meditative state of illusion-like emptiness. Okay, first the self, number 2, 6 elements, number 3, 2 questions, number 4, meditative equipoise of space-like emptiness, and number 5, post-meditative state of illusion-like emptiness. Okay, these are the 5 points which you can easily remember, and in your meditation, wherever you are, in the train, in the on the train or metro, cars, bus, aeroplanes, whatever, you can remember these 5 points and do a meditation there. Okay, so what is the self? The first one, number 1, you can sit in a meditative posture, in whatever position, right? Okay, as I said earlier, you can, ideally speaking, you can do this practice whenever you, in whatever time that you are in, whatever place, whatever body posture is fine, you can meditate on this. But as I said earlier, sometimes we may think that okay, I like to rest and I like to also do the meditation together, 2 things happening, multitasking. Oftentimes it doesn't work. Some people, they talk about the dream, dream yoga, right? Dream yoga is very, very interesting. One is very exotic, and number 2, that you can lie down, you can sleep, and you can still do the dream yoga. And these are all very profound teachings, very profound practices, which ordinary people cannot do until you have the basic preparation. But some people, they easily teach this. I don't know whether, okay, this is not my, I don't want to comment too much on this. And then some people, they're very honest, the participants, some of them are very honest. They said that, I don't know whether this dream yoga, what it is, but I received the teaching and I tried and I had a sound sleep. Very honest feedback. That's very true. Dream yoga is about just see. You don't have the control of the dream. This is our, say, the basic mind. And how can we can't even control the mind when we are in the waking state. How can we think of controlling the mind in the dream? You cannot control the mind in the waking state, right? Okay, say in the waking state, at least you came to the class, right? With the Rajendra bell, who rang the bell? Who rang the bell? Rajendra rang the bell, and still you are continuing talking, right? So at least you came here. In the dream, just make sure you come to the class in the dream, right? Just see. No, these are all just, okay. So the point is that the first one is the self. What is the self? So here, in whatever position. So where sometimes, in fact, I personally would say that in my 20s, early 20s, 21, 22, 23, there I may be because of my hot blood, so excited with meditation, and then I lie down and I meditate emptiness. Although my emptiness meditation, it was very, very, very coarse, just more like personal interest and personal studies. And I lie down, think about emptiness. Yes, it works so well. Then when the actual emptiness was introduced, then I lie down, I just go into coma, right? Okay, so the point of what I'm saying is that sometimes it works. When it works, don't feel that, okay, I am somebody special. He gave us a warning that usually it doesn't happen, but it happens to me. I must be somebody special. It happens sometimes. Most often it will not happen. Sometimes it may happen. Once in a while it happens. It's fine. But overall, simply because one day it happens, it doesn't mean that it will happen every day. If it happens every day, wonderful. You can lie down, you sleep, and then you can also have the meditation done. Like what happened to Bodhisattva Shantideva. He just sleeps all the time and then he meditates. So much control over one's mind. That's a different story. Whereas for us, the best thing is at least sit upright, lean against the support, or at least where you are not in the lying down position. Up, lean against the support, or whatever, in the chair or a cushion, whatever is fine. And on the train, on the aeroplane, whatever, you can do the practice. It should work. But to what extent you will realize you get the experience of emptiness, that entirely depends on how rich your past life experience, or in this life, to what extent you have studied, to what extent you have meditated, reflected. This will determine your experience. Okay, but what is the likelihood that if you want $100,000 and in the bank you're allowed to continually they deposit like say $1,000 every week. So what's the likelihood that you will have this $100,000 one day in the bank? It depends on how regular you are in depositing money, right? And then the more the time you deposit money, closer you are towards getting the intended amount of money. You agree with me? This is the only way. The more you study, closer you are towards emptiness. That's for sure. It's not that, suddenly I'll wait for a guru blesses me, some empowerments, and tomorrow I become I realize emptiness, and day after tomorrow I become Nobel laureate in physics. Right? Today you realize emptiness, and then you go to the guru, please bless me tomorrow that I want to become Nobel laureate in physics. Guru blesses you, EMCs come to you, you become Nobel laureate in physics. Impossible. Do you agree with me? I'm a believer, but I don't believe that the guru blesses you, the Buddha blesses you, and you become a Nobel laureate in physics the next day. Impossible. It's only your effort. The Buddha said you are the master of yourself. Who else is there to master? Buddha said, I teach the path, I show the path, and you walk the path. Buddha cannot walk the path for us. You're getting it? So the more we study, more we reflect, more we'll get there. This is the meaning of the walking the path. Okay, so what is self? The first point, self, just think of the self. It's not necessarily self, it's just in a very simple way I put it. Just simple way. It can be flower. Self means just it's just one example. Self. Instead of self, you can have flower, you can have house, you can have your brother, you can have your sister, you can have your food, you can have your cheesecake, you can have your train, you can have your what? Anything that you have. You think of that to meditate on the emptiness of that particular object. Whatever object on which you want to meditate on its emptiness, that object becomes what I call as the self. You're getting it? So when you just think of this, the object, let's say the flower. Okay, how does the flower appear to you? Just look at it and mentally think of this. This meditation must be done by your mental consciousness, not by your sense consciousness. Think of this object and then identifying the object of negation. How does this flower appear to you? As like a dream, or as so objectively, nothing to do with my mind, as so objectively, how does it appear? It appears so objectively there, so solidly there. Okay, this is, the first point is in lieu of the identified object negation. You getting it? Okay, so then what's the next point? Point number 2. 6 elements. With the self, you can go into the 6 elements. With the flower, you can go into the atoms. 6 elements is for the self, and for the flowers and other things, the physical objects, you go for the atoms, electrons, protons. Go into how you watched the NASA company's document film, where you subject the flower into ultimate analysis, then you see the atoms. Go into the level of the atoms, stay there. Right? Stay there. Just stay there. And always be reminded that what I'm seeing now, 6 elements, or the atoms, billions of atoms, this is what I am not exaggerating. This is what I'm discovering. You're getting it? That's the difference. Exaggeration and discovery. You're discovering it. That on the ultimate analysis, I just see the atoms. I don't see the flower. This is what I'm discovering. The Buddha discovered the path. He did not invent the path. You're getting it? Don't forget it. The Buddha discovered the path. He did not invent the path. Okay. So you see the 6 elements. What's next? 2 questions. The first question. What are you seeing? What are you seeing? Answer is that I'm just seeing the 6 elements, that's it. Or the atoms, that's it. Atoms, that's it. The second question, where is this flower? Where is this self? Where is this flower? Atoms are not a flower. Different from the atoms, not a flower. I've now come too close to the object. If there's something objective, I should be able to see that. Where is this flower? Atoms are not a flower. Different from the atoms is not a flower. Where is this flower? It is empty. You're getting it? From the object, it is empty. You are discovering it. You're not inventing it. If you invent it, then this is not real emptiness. Real emptiness is the ultimate reality which existed since time immemorial. Even before, since the time before the Buddha came into existence. It existed, this reality. The Buddha discovered it. He did not invent it. Let's not forget it. Likewise, we are not to invent the emptiness. You create your own emptiness, right? I've met some people who tend to be a little creative. So I usually say that with emptiness, never be creative. With emptiness, never be creative. This is what I always tell to people. Because emptiness is a very refined object. If you tend to be creative, your mind can create so many things. And you will never discover the reality. You can only keep inventing things. Invention, your invention, it did not exist before. But we are discovering a reality which existed since time immemorial. You're getting it? Okay. So when you see that, okay, I'm discovering this. I'm not inventing it. I'm discovering this reality which existed before, which I've never seen before. You're getting it? Which existed, but I was totally blinded by my ignorance for having this vision. So with this, say, where is the self? Where is this flower? It is empty. Nobody identified as intrinsic one with the atoms. Nobody identified as intrinsically different from the atoms. It simply is empty. Stay in this experience. What's next? Meditated equipoise of the space-like emptiness. So this experience that you get now as the answer to the second question. answer to the second question. This is the point number 4. Meditative equipoise of the space-like emptiness. Space-like emptiness means space, it has nothing to grab, is empty. So likewise, the flower dissolves. There's nothing to grab as flower. There's nothing to grab as self. It dissolves.
Whatever we discover, is it also not borrowed in a way because that's what we've been told, that is what exists.
Okay.
So how can we personally?
Okay. I'm telling you. I have a Casio watch. I have a simple Casio watch. This is it. Come. Now I'm giving the information. It's not for you, it's mine. It's just borrowed for you. It's your borrowed object now. Right? So what is this? Without looking at it. Okay. So she is paraphrasing me. She's paraphrasing me. She's saying this. What is this watch?
Casio watch.
Okay, now look at it. Look at it now. Is it really Casio or not?
It is
Do you see it?
Yeah.
How do you see it? Where did you?
Yes.
Where?
It's written here.
Where?
On the watch.
Where?
On the top of the watch.
Top or down?
Top.
Okay. So now, is it Casio or not?
It is.
You tell them that Geshe said this Casio, or you say it is Casio.
I am saying this because I can see it here.
Okay, look, now you are not paraphrasing me. You're getting it? It becomes your knowledge. Now it is not a borrowed knowledge anymore. It is your knowledge. So likewise, with the emptiness, you discover it. First you learn it. Now it's mine. Okay, first you learn it. When you learn it, it is a borrowed knowledge. And when you see that, and then you feel, for example, let's say that if you eat lemon, it'll make your mouth what? Sour. And strange feelings will come. Strange feelings, does it come to you now? Now. Is it coming? Okay, not now. But I told you it's coming. Okay. So when you actually eat the lemon, then the experience will come to you. That is your, not borrowed knowledge. This is your own knowledge. You're getting it? Likewise with the meditation emptiness, tickling sensations, goosebumps, the cold waves. What do you call it? The English word? The bones chill. Not bone chilling is not a good experience. So cold waves flowing through your bodies. This comes, it's like you put out the lemon in your mouth, and then all these things come, right? Small babies, they put the lemon, and then they face what do you call it? Contorted, right? They face contorted, likewise. So this indication that the child is having a first-hand experience of, is not a borrowed knowledge, is one's own knowledge. You're getting it? This experience will come to you. These are the indication that it's not a borrowed knowledge, it is your own knowledge. Okay, good. So with this, what happens? Number 4, what is number 5? Post-meditative experience of illusion-like emptiness. Okay, with this then what you do is that then you come out of the meditation. Space like emptiness meditation. From there, imagine that you come out, again the self comes back, or the flower comes back, appearance. And be very sure that from the object is empty. You're getting it? From the object is empty, now the appearance is coming. What is that? Object from the object is empty, but the appearance is coming. What is illusion? Anybody? How do you describe illusion? Yes, Tejala. Okay, Dorji. Oh, no. So don't meditate. Without meditation, you must know what is illusion. How do you describe illusion in general? Dorji? Okay. Then Vijay?
Like a movie.
No, how? What?
Like a mirage when you see something.
No, how?
not there.
Okay, let's see. So later, if you are to talk on emptiness, let's see how difficult it is to talk about emptiness. For you to even explain illusion, you cannot explain it. Right? Then explaining emptiness. Okay, raise hands. Namsala, what is illusion? Listen. They say louder. Louder. Distortion of mind. Distortion of mind. Distortion of mind. Illusion. What is illusion? This is my question. It's not about Laksha Tushe. Right?
Magic, right?
It
It doesn't exist, but it feels real.
doesn't exist, but it feels real. Okay, now coming closer. The young Bella. Wow. Say it louder. There's when there's a discrepancy between appearance and the reality. It's a magical illusion, right? You see the elephants and so forth. There's appearance of the elephants happening, but when you go there, there's no elephants there in reality, right? When there's a discrepancy between reality and appearance, that appearance is known as illusion. In other words, when things don't exist the way they appear in one way, they exist in a different way, that is illusion. So, what we come to realize is that from the object there's nothing there. From the object there's nothing there, but the flower still appears as from the object, as an object. So appearance is happening, the reality it is empty. This is known as illusion. So be aware, objectively it is empty from your understanding of point number 4. And then from your understanding of point number 5, it still appears. So object-wise, from the object there's nothing there, but it appears, it is known as mere appearance. You agree with me? Okay, from the object there's nothing there, but it still appears. It is described as mere appearance. You're getting it? Okay, mere appearance. So mere appearance is known as illusion. So you see the flower as like illusion. It is not illusion. It is like illusion. Just as the illusion is what appears where from the object is not real, likewise the flower, it appears, but objectively it's not real. Therefore, the flower is described as illusion-like. This is a post-meditative experience. You come out of this, the flower appears. Deeper you understand of the emptiness of the flower. When it appears as more like illusion. Sometimes, say, Lama Tsongkhapa describes in his later on, when you understand emptiness, you get a good come out of the study of the emptiness. I would highly recommend you to read study Acharya Chandrakirti's text, Madhyamika Avatar, Entry into the Middle Way, eventually. And the commentary, the best commentary that is available in English would be Lama Tsongkhapa's commentary. Illuminate, I don't know what exactly, in Tibetan it is Uma Gombar of Cell, Illuminating the Intent. Okay, Illuminating Intent, translated by Dr. Tridin Jimba, is a very good translator, and sometimes this is a problem. So where the translators, when the translation is not too smooth, there's a problem. Particularly the concepts are very complicated, then the translation must be very smooth. And Dr. Tridin Jimba's translation is very good. And this commentary is the best. Okay, this is what I would suggest. And say it again.
The cost of the book is $80.
Okay, the cost of the book is $80. $80 is like how many rupees? 6,000. So therefore, so this is one problem. Of course, this is a huge book. It's not a small book, and it's many years of effort. Yes, in the first place, the fact that it's available, we are very lucky. The fact it's available, we are very lucky, right? Then what happened to Tibet House, Nalanda Master's Course? Nalanda Master's Course is that as a part of this, we study the 10 systems. 10 system. The one book which is so good is The Precious Garland by Venerable Gujo Jingme Wangpo. His book is so good and is available in English, already available since long time ago. And we don't use this, but copyright issue is there. And Tibet was not in the master's course. People who enrolled there, it was 460 students, and we cannot ask everybody to buy this book because it's a little costly. Some people even the cost of the whole fee is so small, right? And some people they can't even pay this much, pay the small fees that we charge. So we ask them to do something, to do some transcription work and so forth, so forth. And and then why? Transcription work. And this transcription the person did is of no use. We'll discard it. Just let the person feel that I've done something for Tibet House, and what is done is no use at all. But we did make them do something to let them feel the value of this. So the thing is that there are many people who cannot pay. It's not that easy. And then 6,000 is not a small amount. So this text is available already, 10 system in English. It's already available there in translation. Translation also very good. But I'm like, we cannot use this. I cannot use this. So I'm forced to translate it myself. I translated that myself. And I made it copyright free. Anybody can use this, download for free. Right? Why should there be restriction to the knowledge? And of course, I understand it. Once it is produced in the form of the book, yes, it costs something. And today, nowadays, all these, the soft copies there, this is issued. Yes, of course, people, they commission them. The translator has to, survive all these. Somebody has to sponsor that. And there's expenses involved there. But the thing is that this is a complication from my side. So whatever materials that we have, we give it for free. Okay, this idea. Okay, with this in mind, this book is good, but always better that we have this book. But those in Delhi, if you cannot buy, don't worry. Tibet House, I already asked the office to buy like 8-10 copies for reference of the students, so you can use them from Tibet House. Yeah, those who are in Delhi. You cannot take it away. Okay, from Delhi. Okay, so I think that what time is it now? It's 4. Okay, we'll read some of the verses now. Where did you stop? 22? 21 done. Okay, 22. Now the opponents, what they say is that cause effect, okay, I think somebody already answered it yesterday or 2 days ago. This is exactly what the opponents are saying. Cause and effect, yes, it can be intrinsically real, but they are not disconnected. There's continuum there. There's a continuum there. You're getting it? There's a continuum. There's a flow there. For example, let's say, what is this? You will say this is a rosary. Whereas if they break this string and all these beads separately, put in this container, and I tell you, what is this? You will not say this rosary. Rosary means something like a garland, right? So that way, so what is, it's the same. 108 beads all put in this container, or 108 beads in a string. Then you make a garland. So why one is called as, you see one as rosary, as a garland. You're getting it? As a garland. What's so distinctive of this, distinct from the 108 beads put together without a string? What's the difference? Composition. Anybody else? You want to use any other words? Composition good, huh? Raise your hands. Yes? Form. There's a physical form there. Is there anyone who has to add more? Function. Anyone else? Arrangement. What did you say? Composition, arrangement. Anybody else? Okay, perception. Yes. Okay, Matthew. Okay, there's a flow there. I'm looking for one particular word. Yes, continuum. There's a continuum there. There's a continuum. See, river. What is a river? It's just the H2O, tiny molecules, billions, trillions of tiny molecules. Then they continue to move from one to the we continue to flow there. We call it continuum there. That's a river. That's a stream. So there's a continuum there. What do you mean by continuum? Do you see the continuum? Yes, you see a continuum there. You're getting it? So the opponents are saying that the individual cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect, they exist as intrinsically real, as objectively real, but they are not unrelated to each other. They are related to each other by continuum. You're getting it? Okay, what is this continuum? If you examine it, you will see this continuum is possible only if there's some mind involved in it, mental, subjective perception involved in it. Otherwise, there's no continuum, makes no sense. For example, you remember, say, I am very unhappy. You remember that? So there, you see that somebody said, I am very unhappy. There's a continuum there. This continuum, who made a continuum? Your mind made a continuum. From the object, they're all discrete. Nobody said that I'm unhappy. But your mind put them all together and create one continuum and said that somebody said I'm very unhappy. So the continuum, group, these are all the concepts created by your own mind, nothing from the object. These are so precious concepts. Okay. 22. Opponent. Because continuum, because of this continuity or because of this continuum between the cause, effect, there's no danger of the two extreme views that things are always there. What are two extreme views? Either a nihilist or eternalist. It should be eternally, if something exists, it should exist forever. If it's non-existent, it should never exist. For example, 2023 is existent, non-existent. 2023, is it existent or non-existent? It is non-existent. Will one day become existent, right? So what is non-existent? If it is intrinsically non-existent, it should forever remain non-existent. If it's intrinsically existent, it should forever remain existent. So these are two extremes. The opponents are saying that these two extremes don't apply to us because we explain how the cause effect, how the cause is a cause for the effect and how that effect is a cause to the next effect on the basis of the continuum. You're getting it? This is what the opponents say, but the Arya Nagarjuna is saying that whereas you believe in objective existence, you believe in independent existence. You reject the role of the subjective imputation. When the role of subjectivity is removed, then you cannot account for the continuity. You cannot account for the continuum. Because of continuity or continuum, there is no danger of the two extreme views. Acting as a cause of another causal phenomena, the original causal phenomena ceases to exist. So, say the cause, serving as a cause to the next effect, that cause ceases. You're getting it? Apple seed giving rise to apple tree. Initially apple tree ceases. So what is existent becomes non-existent on the basis of the continuum. This is what the opponents are saying. Replying, as explained before, the cause and the result, like a functional phenomena and a non-functional phenomena. Let's say the cause, at the time of the cause, it arises and it endures. The cause, that's the functional phenomena. When the result is given rise to, then this cause ceases. It becomes non-functional. Okay, as I explained before, the cause and the result like a functional phenomena and a non-functional phenomena. What is that? Functional phenomena at the time of the cause, at the time of the result, what was caused becomes non-functional. Cannot arise with inherent existence either simultaneously or sequentially. So from the cause, given rise to the result where the cause becomes non-functional. So this cause and effect, from the cause, the effect is given rise to, it should arise either. This is the logic that our mind should be trained to leave imprint in the mind. The logic, if it does exist, if it arises,